Are you a hard worker? Want more out of life? That was Dominick D'Agostino in his early 20s. This is his story.
Hi, I'm Dominick D'Agostino, and I am the founder of Personal Touch Car Wash. So, after high school, I went to college. College wasn't for me. Stopped college after 2 years, approximately 2 years, and did some construction work. In the winters, I was painting and decided I was going to start a painting business. This was in 1982. I was approached by my uncle, Phil Sosai, to operate this car wash in Brookfield, Connecticut. So when Phil approached me, he introduced me to Rich Schulman. I was a little bit tentative, only because I had just started my own painting business. I was making a few bucks, and I was my own boss. And I knew Phil could be tough, and it wasn't going to be an easy job for me to fulfill. It was going to be demanding, lots of hours, and no matter what I was doing in life, I was going to give it 100%. One thing that really inspired me to get into the car wash business is something that Phil had stated to me, and that was his attorney at the time, did this back in 1982 when I was 25 years old, was making a couple $100 an hour, but Phil had said he has to be there, his attorney would have to be there to make that couple $100 an hour. And at that time, Phil was going down to Florida in the wintertime, and he was making money. So that was appealing to me, the fact that I could potentially make money and not have to be present to make the money.
Right.
And that went a long way, and that inspired me during the 5 years that I worked with them operating the car wash in Brookfield. When I sat down with Rich Schulman and Phil Sosai, they had offered to give me 10% of the new business to run it, and a salary, of course. I didn't like the 10% and asked to buy an extra 10%, so I would have 20%. And the way it worked out is they wanted to sell me the 10% down the road sometime, and my view on that was, if I build this business up, that 10% was going to cost me a lot more money down the road, as it would at the inception of the business. So they agreed to sell me the 20% of the business. And so with that kind of thinking, Rich Schulman acknowledged that kind of thinking, and I think he knew, as an older guy and a guy with experience, that I had the drive and the insight to realize that, and the potential to realize that, to grow with them, and obviously after them, to grow on my own. My uncle taught me negotiation strategies and that sort of stuff, and Richie was more in touch with the car wash operations, and also more in touch with experimental and trying new things. So in 1982, when I started, it was a brand new building, and we had a lease agreement with option to purchase, and we bought some used equipment from Rich Schulman. I believe it had 1 million cars on it, for $5,000, and that was the equipment we washed cars with. They also had taken in another partner who was an electrician who did all the electrical work. So essentially, I think with the money that I paid for my 10%, which I believe was 10 grand, and all the free labor they got from the electrician and whatnot, they probably weren't out of pocket much to open up this car wash. So for 5 years, I was running this car wash, sometimes working 7 days a week. We extended the hours, I think at my discretion, because we noticed we were washing cars. I couldn't shut the door at 6 o'clock, and we started staying open till 10 o'clock. And there was nights where, I was home with my new family, and I would have to run down there to fix something at 9 o'clock at night or whatnot. But I did that for 5 years, and it was very hard work. It was a commitment. It was a compromise with my family at times, but it paid off in the long run. I learned the hard way, so to speak. And at the end of 5 years, we had some investors come in to buy the car wash from us, and that gave me the capital and the time to start venturing out on my own. 1987, when the car wash sold, I had gotten involved with a couple of other car washes with Phil, where I would pretty much go find the location, renovate the location, and we would take in a third partner to run the location. And so we had 2 or 3 of those between 1987 and 1991, where I decided to just break off and go totally on my own. At that point, I had different visions than Phil did, and Phil kind of wanted to stay in the exterior business. In 1991, the exterior business was a tough way to go, to be profitable. So I kind of wanted to go the full service business, which required a lot more effort. And so I took on my first location as a full service place. So when I started off in the New Haven location, I did have partners. I took in my brother-in-law to be the main operator, and I would assist. My deal with him was to assist him for a year until he got acclimated to the business. And we took in my stepfather, John Calitri, as an investor. So it was a 3-way partnership. I was the leader of the operation. I called the shots. They had a lot of trust in me, and we were very innovative at the time. We were one of the first full-service car washes in Connecticut to incorporate a quick lube into the facility. And again, that was a very profitable situation for us. 1990, I opened up New Haven Car Wash, which was a full-service car wash, and a year later, added the quick lube to it. In 93, I opened a full-service car wash in Torrington, Connecticut, along with a quick lube, and took my son-in-law in as a partner, an operating partner. In 2000, I opened a car wash, full service with quick lube in Milford, Connecticut. Took in a partner, operating partner, Pete LaRoe, who was still with me and partners in a couple of places. In 2002 to 2003, I opened a car wash in Prospect, Connecticut, full service with quick lube, and took in my nephew Vin Porzio, who is now my full-time partner or equal partner in all my new locations. In 2006, I built a car wash in Litchfield, Connecticut, full service. There wasn't room for an oil change, so there was no oil change there. Around that same time, we sold the car wash in Prospect, which gave Vin Porzio, my nephew, the opportunity to go help search out for new locations. In 2007, Vin and I opened up a full-service car wash in Milford, Connecticut. Again, no room for a quick lube. And in 2008, we had a location in Waterbury, and Dwight Reed from DRB convinced us to try this new express wash with gates and free vacuums, which was a whole different thing than we were used to doing, but sounded like a lot less work and something that was new to the area. I think we were the first car wash in Connecticut with the gates and free vacuums. and that turned out to be a home run. And then since then, Vinny and I have run with that concept and have expanded to Massachusetts and Rhode Island and Connecticut with other express locations, and have been very profitable, and we're expanding at a pretty fast rate with that format. In the car wash industry, what I've learned through the 30 odd years that I've been in it, it's changed quite a lot. And if you're not willing to deal with the change, you're probably not gonna be real successful, and you're gonna have to work a lot harder to make money in this industry. So what I've done throughout the years, I've changed. So in 1991, 1992, when I incorporated the oil change with the full service car wash, that was my formula, and that's what I thought that's where I'd be forever, is just look for full service car washes where I could add a quick lube to. I'd say by 2005 or 6, I realized that getting the help to manage these large facilities was getting more and more difficult, and a lot more work and effort than I wanted to deal with. What I would do in all of my free time, I would travel around looking for new locations, and I would also stop in existing locations and get ideas. So the most difficult part of expanding is not the development of the sites, because we've got that down pretty good, and we've developed a lot of sites. It's getting partners in to operating partners in to run those sites, and that's the most difficult part of expanding and growing the business, is getting young men or women that have the insight and the work ethic to do what I did when I was 25 years old, or do what Vin did when he was 23 years old, and to see the great potential that this industry has. There are sacrifices, I think, with any small business. This is a retail business, so we're open, 7 days a week. We're at most locations now open 14 hours a day. So there is a compromise between personal lifestyles, and business. And I think it's important to know that at the beginning, the compromise is really not a compromise, but more of a sacrifice, and it's towards the business. You have to build up that foundation, and once you do, you can start compromising, and the benefits of that, obviously, and the rewards are the financial rewards. And the financial rewards have been something that I could have never fathomed at 24 years old, when I was, I had my small painting company. So yes, there are sacrifices, there are compromises, but if you work hard and you like the business, like I like the business, I think the potential is unlimited.